Hi there, and welcome into Scheduling Fate. All right, so this week we are going to take a look at the astrology for the 24th of November to the 30th. We are wrapping up the last week of November, entering into the last month of 2025. This week, just to look ahead, be sure to check out your daily vibes. That gives you some insight with both tarot and astrology day by day, breaks it down just a little bit more. You can also go to schedulingfate.com and find your written horoscopes for your sun sign or rising sign. And of course, opportunities, as you can see on the screen, to get recorded readings, working with me, are reports that are all personalized for your chart. This is an overview how the collective's going to feel, but this will really dial into you, your little slice of the pie, per se. And also this week, towards the end of it, your December horoscopes are going to drop. So be sure to look for that as well. All right. So what you are seeing on the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, is the Moon Gateway calendar. Now, if you're a Moon Gateway member, you already have access to 2026. So you are in the know as to what transits are coming up, how you can plan. If you're looking for vacations or work things or what have you, you know what's there because everything is waiting for you, at least for the next couple of months to plan ahead. Okay, so breaking it down this week, we're coming off of the new moon week. We had a new moon last week, which means that this week we're going to have a first quarter moon. It's going to help us build towards the full moon the following week. So there is a little bit of intensity, it's almost like a wake up week. That first quarter moon is that week where you're like, okay, I really need to do this. I really need to dial in and make sure that I follow through with those Scorpio intentions that I set last week. And if you don't follow through, you may just find that you're agitated and you decide to sit with it a little bit longer. But as we come into Monday, we are still working underneath a Capricorn moon. Now, Capricorn moon, it's an earth sign, but it's a cardinal sign. It wants you to take grounded action to get something done. And it's not just frivolous. It's not throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what's going to stick. That Capricorn man wants you to understand that the best things take time, that it's not an instantaneous world. It feels like that because we're all in line. We're all like, click, click, here it is. It shows up. But Capricorn says we invest our time, we invest our energy, and we are going to find something that's worthwhile and is timeless. Like it has to make sense. So that's an idea that you've been walking with throughout this weekend underneath that Capricorn moon. And you've had some pretty powerful ideas that have surfaced because of that. Now, today, underneath this Capricorn moon, it's going to be a pretty busy day. That moon has got lots of conversations about our heart space, where our mind is. We could have a couple of points of contention where we're having to let go of old wounds or use those wounds to launch us forward. And once we do that, we could feel a little bit overwhelmed. But then we kind of ground back in and say, okay, let's do the hard things first. But in the middle of this, we do have two transits that are perfecting today. One is early this morning, so you've likely been working with it and feeling it. We always feel Mars on the incline. But we're going to have Mars, who is in Sagittarius, square off with the nodes of fate. So this is that point where you're standing in the middle. You see where you are intended to go, the north node of fate, and you see what you are asked to release or use to help get you to that north node of fate. So it can feel a little bit contentious at times because Mars in Sagittarius is like, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you how it is. And sometimes that feels very inspiring and phew, but it's hard. And this is someone who's lost Sagittarius. Sometimes it's hard to know if it's your soul or your ego talking because you're just like, it's the truth. And you kind of get on your high horse and sometimes you land on the ground. So you want to be a little careful with this. Use it for the positive side, the courage, the motivation, the drive to let go and to stretch. So the transit itself is a powerful turning point between action and intuition. Mars in Sagittarius wants to leap into the unknown, chase freedom, and live by truth. But the North Node in Pisces is calling for faith and flow. And that South Node in Virgo is clinging to what is familiar, not only familiar, but precise. If I precisely do this, this is the outcome I'm going to get. And you're starting to understand that that's not the case anymore because whatever details or information you're relying on has now changed. So you're going to feel a little bit torn between control and surrender as you work with this energy. So some key themes would be trusting divine timing over strict plans, moving from logic and critique to intuition and faith. And if you're feeling a little restless, to take action in a direction that feels right with your soul. Like that, it has to feel right there. You want to let go of the need to fix or analyze everything and really turn into those inspired and soulful ideas. Pause before reacting, let go of perfection, move through emotion. And if you have this calendar, of course, there's some more insights for each sun sign and rising sign. Now, at the other end of the day, we are going to have Mercury and Venus meet up. Venus is actually going to meet with Mercury if we want to have the correct speaking of it. But Mercury's moving backwards, and these two meeting up throughout the year is not entirely rare. We always want to pay attention to the sign and how it's working because there's a story here. And because we're working with Mercury in retrograde, it's a story that we've heard before. It's something that's been percolating. So pay attention to things that are familiar or conversations that come back up. It could be around communication, it could be around money, it could be around siblings, something in that regard. But when Mercury, communication, thinking, and perception, and Venus, love, beauty, and values, meet up in Scorpio, this is emotionally intense and a truth seeking energy. And the results could be deep connection through words, transformational conversations, and soul level clarity around love and worth. So this is one of those things. It's not lighthearted flirtation. It's I see your soul. Now let's talk about it. What are we really feeling, and what are we afraid to say? It's very deep, deep energy at the last degrees of Scorpio, where we had that new moon, that same kind of neighborhood, not the same degrees, same neighborhood. Things are coming up. So there's some vulnerability here. You may need to journal. You may need to have honest conversations. You may need to go into some deep meditative work to understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. Because sometimes it's easier to desire something, or it's easier to say, no, I don't like you, and draw the line in the sand and kind of stay in your comfort zone, than to confront why you have that desire or why you would rather chase than have. Like is it wrapped around your ego or your identity? Where is this coming from? And how can you transition and shift through this? Really rise like the phoenix, the highest vibration of Scorpio. That's a lot for a Monday, no doubt about it. As we roll into Tuesday, are going to shift into an Aquarius moon. So just a reminder about an Aquarius moon. This is an independent, higher innovation perspective kind of energy. So keywords to think about in the next couple of days is independence, but being logical, somewhat detached, but not too detached. It's all about humanitarian efforts, community, innovative, non-conforming and very unique. So it's a different way to look. So let's just think about this for a second. If you go super deep with all that Scorpio vibes on that one end, and you're going super deep trying to understand how to really work with that air and fire energy and letting go of the past and reaching for the future, this Aquarius moon is going to allow you to take a little bit of that emotion out of it, a little bit of the feels out of it, but you don't want to take too much because you do want to process the feelings. But it's going to give you that ability to see the big picture, to see all different corners of it. So definitely think outside the box and embrace your uniqueness. We don't want to overthink things, especially our emotions, and we don't want to detach too much over the next couple of days. The opening aspect of this moon, every Aquarius moon for a while now, is going to be a conjunction to Pluto. Its closing aspect on the 27th, all the way towards the end of this week, is a square to Uranus. So we've got some pretty innovative, didn't really see that coming energy. However, this moon is not very talkative over the next couple of days. It has some profound conversations, but it's not yabbering a little bit the way the Capricorn moon was on the 24th. So the void moon, of course, will happen in the middle of night at 3:09 a.m. Central Time Zone on the 25th. It'll be for an hour and 7 minutes. Then we move into the Aquarius moon. That intense aspect with Pluto is at 7:44 a.m. Central Time Zone. A couple hours after that, that moon is in sextile with the sun. So it's really thinking about how we can make some innovative changes. But then it's quiet for the rest of the day. I know a lot of us are getting ready for the holidays. So maybe one of those things where you're just having a celebration at work, or you're checking out early, or you're starting to plan. It's not very hectic on that day. Now, with that being said, we have some transits that are perfecting the next day that you could be sensing. So if you're listening to me going, Jamie said I was going to be chill and I'm not, you're just ahead of the game, which I have no doubt that you are. You're probably very intuitive. But the very next day, underneath this Aquarius moon, we have one of my favorite transits that happens every year. And this is going to be Venus in trine with Jupiter. These are the two benefic planets. These are the energies everyone's like, oh, I want those. Now, just like with having too much pie, too much of anything is not a good thing. But this is a flow state. This is an energy that says, you know what? If you are looking for solutions and opportunities and ways to expand and follow your heart and fill your pockets and fill other people's pockets, you're going to find a way to do it. If you're not, the trine just kind of floats on by. So it's harmonious and it's in the water energy. Now, this is one of those energies we've been working with all month. It's very powerful, significant energy. Water energy, wherever that is in your chart, is profound. You are making lifetime changes here with some of these transits that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. But Venus in Scorpio is going to bring some intensity. Jupiter in Cancer is going to give this nurturing expansion, but it's going to say, you know what, I've put this offer here before, this opportunity here. Maybe you missed it because you were distracted or trying to process something else. But we could be looking at deepening romantic and emotional bonds, financial blessings that are tied to our intuition, our creativity, our healing. I know a lot of you in the audience do all of those things. There's a lot of increased magnetism and attraction. There's a gentle but powerful healing relationship around relationship wounds, whether those are romantic, our friendships, our family or sisters. There's an ability to heal and grow from this. And of course, if you have this, the calendar, there it is for all the different signs. There's even a ritual and an affirmation that you can work with. And you would also want to check out your weekly horoscopes because they're going to give you some more insight. Now, on the other end of the day, Venus is going to talk to Saturn. Now, Saturn is also in retrograde. This is also a conversation that you've had on a different level throughout the month. We had Mercury come through here twice, or will be twice. We've had Mars come through here. We've had the sun come through here, and now Venus is coming through here. You have met with this council of Saturn and Neptune and Jupiter, this trinity in the water signs over and over. You're really setting up a new timeline, a new story. And here you're being reminded as to what you have committed to and why, and appreciating that everything worthwhile, as that Capricorn moon produced at the beginning of this month, beginning of this week, everything worthwhile takes time. It takes commitment. So this is serious yet soul nourishing conversations or happenstances that you're going to go through. Strong and emotional boundaries around trust and I can love you and not be you. I don't have to change you. I can be me. You can be you. It's long-term commitment to love, to art, to healing, to growth. It's a steady, spiritual, aligned sense of what really, really matters. And sometimes to appreciate what really matters, we go through famines. We go through a period of time or an idea, or maybe we're in that situation where, the news that comes in is either going to take everything away or give you every blessing that you want. And when you really appreciate that moment, then you understand what really matters. And this is a profound, again, it's a trine, but it's going to say, okay, you've earned it. This is what you've put in. This is the karmic energy that's coming back out. And I love that we have this on a week that is all about having gratitude in the US. We really want to dial into that and not necessarily the marketing and what can I buy you, what can I get you. Now that Aquarius moon on this day in the middle of these transits, it's going to have a sextile with Mars. So it's like, okay, these are the ideas about how we could take faded directions. It will square off with Mercury. So there could be a little bit of a communication snafu because Mercury's in retrograde. So this is where people cancel plans. This is where people say, just kidding, we're showing up. This is where orders that you put in maybe don't come back in. This could be also a confrontation with children or siblings because Mercury rules both of those. But it's also an action point. So it's an invitation to have a conversation or to take action in a direction that you need to go in. So kind of look for a little bit of that wrapped inside of these beautiful trines that you've been feeling for the past couple of days. We want to pay attention to what's working, not what isn't working. As we roll into the 27th, this is a holiday in the US. It's an interesting day because it starts off a little bit busier in the morning, and then we have a void moon, of course, and we're going to switch into the Pisces moon. So the Aquarius moon is going to square off early morning hours with Venus, like 5:31 a.m. Central Time zone. So this could also be a little bit of contention around your heart or money or values, or you don't want to do this. There's some kind of detachment needs to be more present energy that you're working with. Then it's quiet all the way until 11:53 a.m. And that's when we have that final aspect, which is a square of Uranus. Again, cancel plans show up, electricity issues. There's some kind of, didn't see that coming. But the thing about Uranus is that no matter how it presents itself, as it works itself out is exactly what needed to happen. So it's the conversation that needs to happen. It's the snafu or whatever, or it's the blessing that you didn't see coming. The moon will be void for an hour and 31 minutes. Now, that's a pretty brief period of time, but we want to make sure we're not initiating anything new. If you're cooking things or juggling things, just pay attention to that void. The moon will go into Pisces at 1:23 p.m. The Pisces moon takes us out of the ethers of I see everything, I see how we're all connected, that detachment, and it just drops us into the depths of the ocean, into the depths of the ocean of emotions. We understand that we've seen it with Aquarius, but now we feel that we are all one. It's very emotional. It brings a lot of intuition and deep emotions and connections to the unseen realms. It could be a little bit dreamy. It could be a little bit like, oh, I just want to escape and relax. I just want to watch the game. I just want to eat my food, whatever. There's a little bit of I love you, but I also wanna escape kind of energy. So over the next couple of days, we you could be very intuitive and psychic. You could have your imagination could be on fire, very dreamy, very creative. And there's a little bit of spiritual, mystical energy, foggy energy that comes around with this too. Sometimes the Pisces moon brings rain or fog, so you may experience that at some level or another. But with this, over the next couple of days, we don't want to ignore red flags. We don't want to overindulge, and we want to make sure that we are considering everyone's emotions, but not too much. I know that's a tricky thing to consider. Do this, but not too much kind of energy that you're going back and forth with. Now, the Pisces moon is going to be quiet for the rest of the day, but we have another significant energy signature that we want to talk about. And that is that Saturn is going to turn direct. So we are really at our graduation point with Saturn because Saturn is done with its retrograde. It is heading back to Aries. It's going to take it some time to get there. But we're going over things that we've already done. It's like the last couple of days of the semester before you get ready to graduate. Yeah, we've done this. We reviewed this. We're here. We're kind of going through the process. But it is a soul shifting kind of energy because Saturn turns direct in Pisces. It's not just moving forward, it's closing that karmic chapter. And it's a karmic chapter that's been you won't see again for 30 years. It won't return to Pisces until 53. So this is a time where you really want to integrate, release, and complete the lessons that the Pisces realm has produced for you. So it's healing spiritual wounds, confronting escapism, rebuilding faith and trust in your inner boundaries, learning how to feel everything without drowning in it, having strong spiritual boundaries. It is a profound energy that we're going to notice. It is in water energy again. So there could be some weather things that come up, definitely some spiritual downloads that you would want to pay attention to. Again, if you have this calendar, there's horoscopes, but there's also written horoscopes at schedulingofate.com. Now, as we roll into the 28th, the Pisces moon, it is a little, it's not crazy busy, like a Black Friday kind of busy. At 12:58 AM, that's when we're gonna have our quarter moon. That's when we're gonna feel that intensity. Okay, I've got to make these changes. I got to move forward with this, or I need to let it go for now. I do encourage you to like whatever intentions you set with that new moon to lean into it. Whatever was brought to your awareness that I need this a clean slate here, lean into making sure that that's protected. At 3:32 PM is the next time that the moon talks on the 28th, and it's conjunct the north node. So we're ready to go emotionally in that new direction. A couple of hours into the evening, 9:57 PM, the moon is going to square off with Mars. And we kind of felt that earlier this week when Mars squared off with the node. So there's an emotional boomerang back to what happened on Monday that you're working with. You're understanding, okay, I have to let this go and I have to reach for this. And this is how I want to move that energy around. So it's more of an emotional awareness. I don't know that you're going to be out and about as much. You may be online or something, but it doesn't look like a typical like, whew, there's an intense energy there. Now, on the 29th, that's another story. The 29th gets busy. And the 29th, we're going to work underneath that Pisces moon throughout the day. But we're going to work with that Pisces moon throughout the day. And then at 6 p.m. Central Time Zone, we'll move into the Aries moon. Now, we have the Pisces moon it's in flow most of this day, just to kind of give that, like, just to kind of circle back there. The Pisces moon is going to be in trine with Mercury, Jupiter. It's going to be conjunct Saturn, in trine with Venus, and conjunct Neptune, and in sextile with Uranus. We are in flow with where we need to go. And if we recognize the solutions, if we ask for the solutions, we are going to find them in abundance. We're going to be able to understand we went through that to get here. Now, another thing that's going to happen on this day before the moon transitions is that Mercury is going to move direct. Now, when Mercury moves direct, that is when moves in or out is when we usually have the most disturbances. So if you are online shopping today or ordering stuff, you want to get receipts, especially if it's electronic, anything that has to be tracked, there's going to be some kind of mystification or confusion or reset or redo or something here because of the retrograde. I would give yourself a couple of days. I know that's bad timing for retailers, but or for you as a consumer, but that direct Mercury is going to complicate some things in the consumer realm, but it's also going to give you some awareness or clarity in the last part of your Scorpio house that's been super active throughout November and help you move forward. Now we'll move into the Aries moon. Like the last aspect of the Pisces moon is at 6:05 PM. The void's very short. It's only an hour. And then we move into the Aries moon. Now, Aries moon takes us out of water and pulls us into fire. Cardinal, let's take action. Let's initiate this. It's very passionate. It's impulsive. It's fast paced. It's confident. It says, okay, let's do this. And this is how we're going to do this. I'm going to leap and I'm going to figure it out as I go. But you don't want to rush into decisions. You don't want to be confrontational or neglect other people's feelings. You want to be present and balanced, but also an independent person in how you are taking those actions. Now, at the other end of this day, and you're definitely going to feel this before this perfects, we are going to have Venus oppose Uranus. Now, this is one of those like, I think I'll be feeling this over the next couple of days prior to this, but this is when it perfects. But Venus is in the last degrees of Scorpio, and it is opposing Uranus in the last degrees of Taurus, her ruling sign, her kingdom. Now, Uranus won't be here next time Venus is here. Uranus is going to be in Gemini. So this is a profound final lesson in how these two energies work together. So Venus in Scorpio is depth and devotion and emotional merging. We are one soul. It's a powerful transformation. Uranus in Taurus, it wants freedom, innovation, and stability in new forms, especially when it comes to love and finances and who I am. So when they face off, like they're staring at each other across the sky, the tension between them is emotional attachment and the need for freedom, or emotional attachment and the need for freedom. So we're going to have to figure out how we can merge, but evolve, be independent, but realize that we're all connected. It's going to be electrifying, a little bit unsettling, eye-opening, liberating. We can expect developments around love and money, sudden attraction or disconnection from other people, breakthroughs around our patterns when it comes to emotions and values and what's important to us. These are one of those things where, especially with Mercury retrograde, like your ghosts are going to come up. You're going to talk to people from the past, or you're going to recognize things that you need to change. Now, Uranus has been here for 7 years. So we've kind of come across this multiple times, but now it's kind of like, I see you coming and we're going to do this differently. There's a lesson to be learned, but it's definitely going to ensure that your weekend is not boring, building up to that energy. It's a pretty profound one. We have Mercury. You really like take a second back. If you really take a step back and look at this week, Saturn moving direct and Mercury moving direct, it's a turning point. We're shifting gears. We also have Mars activating the North and South node, giving us the courage to let go and move forward. And then we have this opposition that gives us this revelation about what we've been doing and maybe how we need to change that. Now, when we move into the 30th, we're still underneath that Aries energy. We have Venus active. Venus is going to trine Neptune. This is a continuation of that story that we've had all month, where these planets have trined Neptune and Saturn, and they've trined Jupiter. Venus is now speaking to the ethereal realms of Neptune. So it's flowing and it's magical. It's one of these energies that says, okay, this is the devotion and mysticism marrying each other. This is passion and compassion, intimacy with unconditional love. You're understanding the flow. And hopefully this love that you're feeling, not to sound selfish, but is for yourself. Because if you have this devotion and love for yourself, for your emotional body, your spiritual body, your physical body, that gives you an unwavering capacity to have that for other people and recognize that they don't need to sacrifice who they are and you don't need to sacrifice who you are to be fully present in this story of your life and move forward. It's going to be a pretty profound energy. Again, it's a trine. So if you're not paying attention, if you're scrolling, if you're somewhere else, you're going to miss the flow. But if you're looking for solutions about how to activate this energy, it's going to be that story that we've been working with all month. Now, later that day, Venus will move into Sagittarius. So this definitely changes the tone because we've been in this deep, murky, transformative, magnetizing water of Scorpio. And now we're moving into fiery, truth-telling Sagittarius. So after we dive deep, emotionally charged in Scorpio, so some of the themes would be more lightness when it comes to love, a desire for truth and meaning, expansion in relationships, finances, and creativity. This is an energy that we feel every year. So kind of reflect on, how do I usually feel when Venus is in Sagittarius around this time? You want to give, you want to share and help. You want to give, you want to share, you want to bring this festivity and this joy into those around you. And sometimes you desire that to have more to give. At least I do. So this is a good time to be open-minded and really expand on what brings you joy. And you want to align your relationships with your beliefs and your truth. And also explore, because this is expansive energy, explore your horizons as you work with this energy over the next couple of months. And as you can see, there's horoscopes for this in the calendar for you as well. So you don't have to wait for me to post your written horoscopes. All right. So that is how we are going to wrap up November. Be sure to check out your written horoscopes for the week. Your monthly ones are going to come out this week as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the dailies. That's going to give you just a little bit more insight because we work with the cards and some oracles to kind of dial into the layers underneath this. But overall, it's a profound week. And I'm interested to know how all of you are going to feel it. All right. See you next time.